Hello, good to see you all. Thank you all for joining me again on yet another episode of Finding Out with Special Needs. I am particularly excited about today's episode, and I want to welcome everyone. Today's topic is what parents and educators need to know about applied behavior behavior analysis (ABA). So, what parents and educators, and when I say educators, I also mean other service providers who provide support for children with disability or children with special needs. So, today is an holistic one, and then we're going to have the experts talk to us. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, I believe we're going to have a great time on episode 29 of Finding Out with Special Needs. I call her Queen B. She's going to come up and talk about herself. Now, it will be my great honor, my pleasure. I'm really excited to bring in Queen B. And here she is. Hello, Queen B.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, good to have you. I didn't do much introduction, but I've told people who you are, and I'm sure they've seen your bio on our social media platforms. I would want you to please introduce yourself to us.
Okay, so I know Lola calls me Queen B, so that's how she knows me. My name is Bahijah Sheibanee, and I'm a BCBA here in United States of America. Currently living in New Jersey, but I was born, bred in Ghana, so I'm a Ghanaian as well. I actually stumbled upon this field accidentally. I didn't know anything about ABA when I first started my course. So it's been a ride, an awesome ride, ups and downs and all of that, but it's been a good one at the end of it. I went in to do my master's program, and I was introduced to ABA, and it really tickled my fancy because I have never seen or heard about it. So when I read about it, I was a bit curious, and I realized that there was, at that time when I started, there was no single person who is a BCBA in Ghana. Now, in all the millions of people we have in Ghana, we have one single person who's in Ghana practicing. So that is not enough. For me, I was like, she can't serve all the individuals with disabilities or anybody who needs the help. She was the only, she still is the only person. And it's my dream to go back very soon to also help in as much as I can.
Great.
The more reason why I was even curious to start this course or this journey was I realized that a lot of Ghanaian communities, even here in the United States, I have come across people who had kids with autism, but I didn't really know much about it because it's a hush topic. Nobody wants to talk about it, right? And if we don't give the help, if we don't talk about it and get the help that we need, I don't think we're doing justice to the kids or the individuals. So I was like, okay, this is something I really want to do. And if I can help my friends or family members or whoever needs this help or these services, that'll be great. So this is how, and I love doing what I'm doing. And this is just the journey and how I got into ABA.
So you can go to the ABA, the website and get all what the criteria would be. But if you need supervision, Queen B is here for you, and you can actually reach out to her. She can direct you to other people. I know a few other people, but above beyond wanting to be certified or wanting your certificate and all of that, like you heard her, passion, understanding, patience, being empathetic. It's not about restraining or being forceful, because like you heard her say, it's all about doing no harm. So that should be your driving force, as opposed to wanting to just add the certificate and just to want to parade it. Thank you so much, Queen B. Because I know you're very big on parent training. And with COVID now, I want you, I know a lot of people, and I'm going to say why I'm asking this question. A lot of people believe that the question is, how can ABA be done? Okay. And I know you know. But the area I want you to also talk about beyond the one-on-one is the parenting and the group training. And I know you're big on that, on those. I know you do one-on-one. I know you do parenting training, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, you do group training too. Because I know some school of thought think, oh, ABA has to just be one-on-one. I want you to shed more light on those.
Right. Yeah.
And considering that there's COVID, also let us know how that can also be achieved.
To also come in there, the ABA, or why we do what we do, is to generalize, okay, for the kid to be able to decide whatever is applied. So, and we want to be able not to be in the individual's life forever. We want to fade out, okay? So that is where the parent training comes in. We need to fade out at some point.
Right.
So like we said, COVID has actually opened up a lot of things, right? We realize that, oh my gosh, this parent training that they were not getting, now look at it. It's going to affect them. We can't go in home, and there's going to be a big problem, and the parents are not able to like stop the problem from happening, and they can't even contain it, right? So parent training is really key as much as we want to do the one-on-one training with the individual. Parent training is always important, because you want to fade out. You don't want to be in the individual's life forever. Fade out, teach them what to do, equip them enough, and then when you're saying bye-bye, you know you did a good job. Yeah.
Great. And I like the fact that you're saying this, because I'm always very big when I'm working with children that parents need to be involved. And I know parents can be busy and all of that, but you need to know. And that's why I brought up that question, that now that COVID is here, and that's therapist or who is going to be working with the child on the ABA principles cannot make it. How? I mean, for some reason, I have a few friends who, even when COVID first started and they were not sure if telehealth work and all of that, they felt just stuck. Like, what are we going to do with this child? So we need to now understand that in everything we do, parents are very important, and we need to carry them along. And like you said, it's not about you working forever or perpetually with that child. It's about you, as you're working with the child, you're equipping the parents so that you can actually step aside or probably be done with the child, and then they can pick it up from there. And I mean, from time to time, they can also consult with you when they feel stuck at some point.
Exactly. Definitely consulting, because once you say bye, doesn't mean that bye forever, right?
Forever.
Always open consultation. All right.
Very
so
good.
just to put things together, as you said, collaboration is always the best way to go. We need to collaborate, because you might be lucky to have a kid who just needs ABA services, period.
Right.
Okay. We have another kid who needs occupational therapy, speech therapy, physical therapy, and even feeding therapy.
Yes.
So if you're not collaborating with the others,
multidisciplinary.
Thank you for that.
Then you help the kid, because in as much as you might use verbal behavior to teach some communication skills, you still need the speech therapy for what? Apraxia.
Yes.
With donations and everything like that.
Yes.
We need to collaborate. We just need to learn how to collaborate with other professionals for the sake of the individual.
And that's been a challenge in our field.
I know.
I'm just telling the truth. That's what you call me to do. That has been the challenge, right?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you're saying this, because it's called, this show is called Finding Out with Special Needs. And I just need to put it out, because everything that has to do with special education, come here, I will tell you how it ought to be. We're not saying you must follow it from, the way we're saying it, but we understand the place of culture and a little bit of difference, but this is the principle, and you must follow it to be able to get the right results. Okay? Collaboration, parent training, you can't do it alone. Collaborate with other professionals,
Correct.
The
services that your child, the services that your child is receiving.
Everyone, depending on the need of the child. And that brings me to the next question. So, talking about collaboration, very important, parent training, because we just need to do it. Depending on the need of the child, you need to be sure that you're meeting every need using the ABA principle. And that brings me to one question, that I believe that ABA must be one-on-one. What is ABA? Can it involve parent training, not just one-on-one with the child? And can it involve group training? I need you to explain how that is done. And then, talking about collaboration, who is a behavior analyst? What does you make? What? So there's BCBA, there's all of the RBT, there's all that. When do you call yourself a behavior analyst? What makes you? What qualifies you to say I'm a behavior analyst?
Okay.
2 questions in one.
Okay. All right. So for the first one, which is whether you can do group therapy. Yes, definitely. Where group therapy is really even important is when you're doing social skills.
Correct.
Okay. When you're teaching the kid to be socially involved, you need to bring other people together.
Yes.
Okay. So you're teaching the kid how to do what? To interact with someone, to be able to initiate conversation. You need other people there.
Other people,
Right.
yeah.
It can be the same kid with the same kind of skills, or
Yes.
a little higher.
Yes.
Somebody who is in mainstream, just to help the kid navigate and be able to communicate with you. Right. We can also use group when it comes to sibling training.
Yes.
Okay. We talk about parent training, but we also use sibling training.
Sibling trainings, yeah.
We do caregiver training. When we say caregiver training, grandma is in the house, she needs to be trained. Grandpa is in the house, he needs to be trained. Nanny needs to be trained. Whoever is in day-to-day needs to be trained.
Correct.
How to handle the kid, what happened, how to do something when something happens, how to stop something from happening. So you have to do all these. So it's when you're taking a kid, you're taking the whole community.
Correct. Correct.
Very true.
Anybody around the people, if they're used to going to every Sunday, they're going to grandma's house and they're acting out over there, and there's nothing going on to stop that tantrum behavior. You need to be going to that grandma's house and be teaching them how.
Also, exactly.
Yep. Very true.
So
yes, I'm glad we're putting it out there, because a lot of people believe, and that's why I needed Jennifer to talk about the parent training, and then you also talk about the group training, because there's this belief, there's this school of thought, silent school of thought, that thinks ABA is just you and the child alone, you and the child alone. So parent, please, anyone applying the ABA principle is also required that you are involved to be able to generalize, that, because this individuals, no matter, I always say to people, everything about special education is expensive. How long do you want to keep paying? Even if insurance, which you don't even have in this part of the world, to pay for you, you need to equip yourself to be able to help that child. And it doesn't make you a behavior analyst or a BCBA or an RBT. It's just for you to be able to help that child. And even when grandma is being trained, the nanny is being trained, everyone's being trained, does not make it like, okay, we're not good, we don't need anybody anymore, so we're good to do this, and then we can get other people on board and be able to help them to know, because whatever is being done for your child is solely for your child alone and not for the whole world, and just for you to be able to help your child. Great. And I like the fact that you said all the as we kept on talking about ABA, the disability that kept coming out was autism. Now, I am a special educator. I keep telling people I am certified to work with children with different disabilities under individuals with education, with disability education. That's IDEA, and it does not limit me to just autism, Down syndrome, ADHD, cerebral palsy. And I'm very aware, because that was my training, that ABA principle can be applied in every of this, just like it can be applied in different fields. Now, the way ABA will be applied in autism, because it has to do a lot with behavior, with most of the, behavior, social skills, communication is a behavior, social skills is a behavior, repetitive and selective is a behavior. So more like 80% of the job that needed to be done with autism involves the applied behavior analysis, which is also needed in the other kind of disability. So my question now is, and you've answered it subtly, but just to be clear about it, my question now is, we're talking about ABA and the principle of ABA and all of that. Is ABA a curriculum? Well, that's one. Two, how, just the way, you, and I know that Queen B, your specialization is in autism, and you told me, I keep forgetting what it is again.
Addiction.
And addiction, yes. I keep calling it rehabilitation. Addiction. Now, yeah. So now, would it be the same way that you would, not the same way, no, let me just, would it, the way you're going to work with a child with autism Now, ask if it's a curriculum, you're going to answer that. And then if you're to work with a child with dyslexia, how would you work with that child? If you're to work with a child with ADHD is also behavioral. If you're to work with a child with cerebral palsy, what would be the basis, and how will you work with that child? Okay. Is my question clear?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So ABA,
and Jennifer, please don't tune out for those because you're going to have to answer some part of that question too.
All right. So the first question was,
is it ABA curriculum?
Yeah. No. ABA.
So how does it work?
ABA is a scientific-based intervention. Okay. And we have assessments that we use. Okay. So based on the assessments that you use with the kid and the evaluation, you can choose programs from the assessments. ABA itself is not a curriculum, but we have assessments, tools that we use. Like we have what? We have ABLES, we have the APLES, we have PEAK assessments, we have VBIMA. So whatever out of these 4 that I use that to see where the kid is falling on the milestone, and then choose programs based off what they need. So ABA is not a curriculum.
Good. I think thank you for answering that question, but there's a part B to it. But before we go to the part B, I wanted you to answer the question I asked about when do I don't know if there's any qualification that I need to be called a behavior analyst, but what makes me, what would qualify me to say I'm a behavior analyst? Because I've studied the principle of ABA, or like someone like me that I've studied the principle and I was supervised by a BCBA. Am I free to call myself a behavior analyst? What makes me a behavior analyst? Okay. So it's like we have BCBA and RBT and all of that. Do they have anything in common, or it's just like a way of saying, look, I know how to analyze behavior?
All right. So why I said before it's dicey is because some RBTs call themselves behavior analysts, right? And parents or other people who are not in the field get confused as to which level they are in. All right. If you're an RBT, yes, you can call yourself a behavior analyst. But make it clear that you're just an RBT. So I know a lot of people who will say like, oh no, RBT shouldn't be part of what we call the behavior analysts. But I mean, it's okay if you would actually explain to whoever you're talking to, right? But to be a behavior analyst, you should either have the BCaBA, which is the assistant, or the BCBA or the BCba-d.
Because all that we're talking about is about the US right now.
Yeah.
And I wanted us to, and I'm particularly happy, and I said that to you that Queen B, you are Ghanaian, and we are neighboring countries. Because we're going to try and think about that towards the end and talk about such things. But I'm happy all this is coming out because choice of words, some people would say, don't call us individual living with disability, call us this and all of that. So I wanted to know if it's just a choice of word or is it professional to use some terms so that we're doing the right thing.
So when it comes to being called a behavior analyst, or which one?
Yeah, like all of the name behavior therapist, behavior analyst. I understand. We talk about RBT. I've clarified all of those. So is this issue of I'm a behavior analyst, I'm a behavior therapist? Yes, but so that means
being a behavior therapist is just getting trained by a BCBA, just to be able to implement programs with the individual. So it's just basic. You don't need much training. Basic. RBT is registered behavior technician. That you have 40 hours of certification, 40 hours that you have gone through. And then you have been supervised by a BCBA to make sure that you know everything that you went within the 40 hours. You know everything. We have a task list, just like we have the task list for the BCBA. The RBTs also have theirs. So she will go on with the check mark and make sure that you have everything up your sleeve. When I put you with a kid, you know what to do. So they check all that. And then she will sign off and then we'll send it to the board. The board will verify everything and then you can take an exam. 75 questions. I think 90 minutes. Yeah. And then you write down exams. You either pass or you fail. You pass on RBT. You don't try again.
Right.
All right. So then that is the RBT. Then the BCaBA, which is the Assistant Behavior Analyst. That is the next step to becoming a BCBA. So they also do almost everything like the BCBA, just that their hours of supervision is less. And then they sometimes don't have even the master's program yet. They're either in the master's program or they just finished their BA and they are getting into it, and they have hours already accumulated. And I think it's about 750 hours. I think it just based on whatever you're doing.
Doing good.
Yeah.
So what I can hear you say now, and I need you to correct me, is that you can be a behavior analyst, and you can call yourself a behavior therapist, but you must understand the principle of ABA, and there must be a form of supervision by BCBA before you can say you're a behavior therapist or a behavior analyst. Yes or no?
Yeah. Yes.
Great. Yeah. Now we're going to take a short break. And I'm going to go back to this question I asked you because we have a lot of students here in Nigeria that are in schools, they're in inclusive schools who are living with different disabilities. And there's this question that something that's going on, will I say a school of thought or a notion that's going on that, look, a BCBA must be there to, just like we are asking the question saying that is ABA a curriculum? Okay, what I remember your answer was you use all of the tools like BabyMap, ABLS, and all those tools, and helps you to now identify the deficit skills, and then you now use the ABA principle to be able to work with the child. That's what I heard you say. Now we're going to take it to the broader perspective where other disabilities in a school setting and what the role of the BCBA should be, and the teachers and the general ed, and talking about positive behavior, PBIS, positive behavior intervention strategies, and a school-wide behavior plan. So we'll take a short break and then we'll get back to that, and then we'll go to the next question. Just take get water, do a leg walk, just a minute or two, and then we'll be back. Thank you. Hello, everyone again. I need to go get water. I was actually thirsty.
That's good.
So I hope you're able to do a little movement and then add some water or something just to calm you down a bit, because this discussion for me is very important because a lot of people ask questions, and I'm glad I was able to get you to come shed some light on what is going on.